Okay, we'll call our meeting to order and begin with the superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Skip. We all set on the live stream? Very good. Well, welcome to all our audience members here tonight. I want to welcome everyone watching the live stream as well. Hard to believe, but we are exactly 3 weeks away from the first day of school. So we're gearing up. We're really excited about the start of the 22-23 school year. Fall sports started today. We're going to have many competitions prior to the start of school. So we're kind of in school mode right now, which feels good. I'm looking forward to welcoming all our students and staff back to our buildings in the very near future. And I really want to thank our talented staff. They've been working hard to prepare for the start of the school. And I want to thank all of our staff for their efforts and dedication so we can have a great start to the upcoming school year. And just some great news this past Saturday, some of you may have heard. Generous Hands held its annual Backpack Bonanza. 15th straight year, is that correct, Dave?
Yes.
And that's at the pavilion, and our families can come. Kids get to fill up their backpacks with school supplies, get shoes, snacks. It's just a great event, and I want to just take a minute to thank Generous Hands and all the volunteers for their efforts to support our schools and our students. So thank you so much. And Dave, if you want to add anything about the event, that'd be great.
Well, actually, the event is done in conjunction with South County Community Services. So both organizations work together, and they were both represented there. First Day Shoe Fund also came, and they measured feet so that they could get shoes to kids. And it was really exciting. They did some fun stuff. I didn't know that making these little charms or whatever, they put their name so they could put it on their backpack was a big deal. I had no clue. I had no clue. And so, you know, to see how excited kids were, there were some really wonderful stories. There was a kid who looked really uncomfortable, and they figured out he was hearing impaired. And a couple of the people there knew how to sign. And it was really fascinating to see how quickly this kid just made it exciting for him. And all of a sudden, it wasn't so scary. And some kids very excited about getting their backpacks. We handed out some books that people had donated. I found one, I don't know, Skip will remember, but I found a book, and in it said from Rowena Barrett, who taught at Sunset Elementary 30-some years ago. I stole that one. Because I knew Rowena. It was the Velveteen Rabbit, and Rowena thought it was a great book. So So there was just a lot of wonderful things going on and trying to get kids off to a good start. And South County and Generous Hands have been doing this collaboratively for 15 years and try to make it fun. And First Day Shoe Fund is very efficient in getting kids shoes as well. Yeah. So it was really wonderful.
Seems like it was yesterday where they started putting Generous Hands together, and I think a lot of us were. In fact, I had discussions with Paul about that. You know, we thought, well, we don't have those problems here in Vicksburg. Mm-hmm. And it was a big eye-opener back then that we really did. And Generous Hands has been just a wonderful program,
Another quick update is the big reading machine's been going all summer. And we've had a lot of students coming and getting, even not even necessarily from Vicksburg, and picking out books, and they have fun. So that's been a great thing for the summer too.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that update, Dave. Really appreciate that. As you know, we've been hiring some more this summer, and we have some introductions tonight. And I'd like to first start by introducing our new Human Resource Director, Lourdes Husovic. So Lourdes started here in early July. She's been working directly with Christine this past month to get up to speed. Lourdes brings plenty of human resource director experience to VCS, as she held a similar position for 13 years in a neighboring district. Lourdes lives in Matawan with her husband, and they have 4 children. So we just wanted to take a minute. Welcome, Lourdes, to VCS.
Welcome.
So, Lourdes, I always like to put you on the spot, everybody on the spot, at least for a minute. So you've been here for about a month. What's your favorite thing, I guess, about Vicksburg Community Schools so far?
Favorite thing is actually the warm welcome, whether it's over an email or somebody pops into the office, which they can't sneak in.
Very good. Well, we're so happy to have you, Lourdes, and hope you have a great first year and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to turn this next introduction over to our Vicksburg Middle School principal, Allison Digert. Allison?
I'd like to introduce Joseph Workema. He comes to us, he was the 6th grade through 12th grade principal in Colon. Prior to that, teacher in Schoolcraft. I'm not going to hold this against him, but he was raised in Schoolcraft, graduated from Schoolcraft. That's okay, we're bringing him aboard. So we're really excited to bring him on. He has 3 children, a couple trying to get into the district here too, and enrolling them here at Sunset. So excited to have him, and he's finished up in Colon this last month. So he really is jumping from one to the other, and we're excited for him to start next week on Monday.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Well, welcome, Joseph. Thank you, Allison, and welcome to the VCS family, both Lourdes and Joseph. So staffing update, we are very, very, very close to having a full staff to start the school year. So very excited about that. Also, last spring, I had some conversations with Jessica and Don, and our newly redesigned website is live. So if you have not had an opportunity to check out the Vicksburg Community Schools website, please do so in the future when you get a chance. It's vibrant, it's easier to navigate, and we're really excited about the work we're going to be doing with the website over the next several months to make it even more friendly for staff, families, and students. So take a look if you get a chance. I'd like to also just touch base, like I always do in August, on our pre-service agenda. So on Monday, August 22nd, we're going to have our new teacher, new staff introduction day, and basically an orientation day. Looking forward to that. And then on Tuesday, we'll welcome everyone back, August 23rd, to the buildings. In the morning, our staff will have building time, and then in the afternoon, or depending on the principal, they will have their annual staff meeting at the building. And then also we will be participating in the K-RISA Virtual Equity Series, and that's going to be at 9:30, from 9:30 to 10:30. And we will be sending everyone on the board the agenda as well in an email with links if you'd like to participate in that Equity Series speaker day. Also on Wednesday, Wednesday, August 24th is our official opener. So we want to welcome all the board members. Hopefully you can make it. We'll start with breakfast in the high school cafeteria at 7:20. We'll move into the PAC and we'll be welcomed by the big red machine. And then we will do our general opening remarks and some fun things. And then we're going to turn it over to Tim Brown. He's a consultant with Solution Tree, and he's going to basically run the day building a collaborative culture. So we're looking forward to having Tim on site. And then on Thursday, we will be working at all buildings on our Alice refresher for safety and security. So looking forward to pre-service. It's coming up quick. And then, let's see, what else today? Very quiet in Lansing. Most legislators have moved on, or have moved their focus to campaigning now that the budget has been passed. So not much news coming out of Lansing at this time. And just a couple reminders on some very important dates coming up. Very excited. I don't believe Karen is present today, but we will have I believe our second annual VCS Safety Carnival next Thursday. So that's the 18th of August from 5 to 6:30. And we hold that right behind VAB, kind of in between the bus garage and here. Again, a fantastic event for families. They can bring their youngest children to learn bus safety. They can go for a bus ride. It's just really, really interactive and fun, kind of to take the nerves off our youngest students about riding buses. So if you get a chance, stop on by next Thursday. We'll have snacks. We're going to have a lot of carnival atmosphere. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's a fun thing to watch the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, at that age, they're all excited about getting on the big yellow bus and going to school.
Yeah. Yes, they are. And just a couple other reminders. The first day of school, again, is Monday, August 29th. And then that will lead right up into the holiday, or Labor Day holiday, which will be, we'll observe September 2nd through the 5th. And with that, That's my report.
Thanks, Keevan. Okay, we'll go on to reports and public inquiry, budget and finance report. Steve?
Okay, I have a few things to cover this evening. I'll move through pretty quickly. First of those is the normal monthly budget progress report. And this is for the first month of the new fiscal year, for the month of July. And just taking a quick look, there's not a tremendous amount of activity in the first couple months. There's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes and a lot of preparation, but at least from a financial transaction standpoint, it's pretty quiet. Revenue, year-to-date, $39,416. That's out of a total budget of $33.3 million. So you can see that, we've collected 0.12% of the annual budget so far. That will, of course, start to go up. State revenue is, I always like to point out that we won't receive our first installment of state aid for the new year in between 10 and 11 weeks from now. It'll be October 20th. And so there'll be a lot of spending, a lot of activity between now and then. So that's just one of those things I think it's important for people to recognize. On the expenditure side, instructional expenditures totaled $48,919. That consists really of some summer school and material purchases and that type of thing. So pretty low in relation to the budget as a whole. And then on support services, you can see it's a bit more, total at $461,327. That has to do with a lot of those expenses. The timing of them is more annual. I mean, it occurs throughout the calendar year. It's, not as tied to the actual school calendar. Also, when we start the year, there's some big payments for property casualty insurance and those types of things, and so you see some big numbers in there. All right, you can see a small amount for athletics and community services, and so total expenditures year-to-date, $551,598, or about 1.7% of the budget. Second page of that report just breaks down expenditures by object code, and you can see that salaries and benefits, which are always a significant part of the budget, majority of the budget, and that is also the case now. With of the 551, about 305,000 relating to salaries and benefits, and then you can see there's some purchase services and supplies. Any questions on that? All right, second item is just, I won't spend a lot of time on this. There's also updated schedule of the investments held by the two bond-funded construction funds. And you can see that the total, if you go based on original cost, the total original cost of the investments is $19,627,621. And you can see they're all the same securities that we've had for several months now. This portfolio was built and is designed to where each of these securities will mature as we expect construction expenditures to come due. And so, we have a little bit over $1 million between the two funds that are liquid that we can access right now. Later this month, we'll have $2 million in fixed term securities that are maturing, and then you'll see more in September. Again, these are all U.S. Treasury notes, and those investments that are in liquid funds are those are investment pools that consist solely of allowable securities in the state of Michigan. So provided the rating information on everything there, and just like to keep everybody up to date on that. Any questions on the investments? Okay. Third item, later in the agenda, there is an action item to approve tentative agreement with the Vicksburg Paraprofessionals Association, where we met last week. The contract is actually in effect through 2024, so we have a couple more years, but the contract calls for an annual financial reopener. And the reopener, there's actually a default calculation if we don't meet, for purposes of discussing finances annually. But as it turned out, we essentially just applied that formula and agreed to it. So the foundation allowance is increasing by a little over 5%, and we applied the same percentage, I think it was 5.16 or 5.17% across the salary scale. That group, you know, that's a group that doesn't get a lot of fringe benefits. They don't have health, vision, dental, those types of things. Of course, like any school employee, they participate in the retirement system, but rates for the retirement system have been flat for a few years, so there's really no change to that. So when we look at applying that formula in this case, it made sense, and it's also a group that we want to be as competitive as we can, and so we recommend that the board approve that. All right, any questions on that?
Is there any long-term goal down the line to start offering some kind of benefits for our paraprofessionals to make that more competitive?
You know, at this point, I would say time will tell. You know, we would have to look at that. You know, those benefits, health insurance, full family coverage, you know, is going to be probably equal to what some of the parapros make, if not more. You know, you're talking around 20,000 of expense, and so that's a lot of. It might be better to have a follow-up discussion at this point. That hasn't been a bargaining priority for that group.
Okay. Do they get paid time off?
Yes, yeah, they're paid holidays, they have sick time, they have some personal business, they do have compensated absences, yep.
Okay.
All right. But at this point, you know, that contract's in effect through 2024, and so that's not, you know, benefits have not been bargained previously, and we would just have to see kind of contract by contract. All right. All right. Other questions on that? Okay. If not, then the last item is included in the packet is, or we're asking for approval to award the bid for the purchase of cafeteria tables district-wide. Included a memo in the board packet. So, as I explained, we had bids from 5 companies. The bids ranged anywhere from $158,000 to $441,000. I kind of explained the thought process. 2 of the lower bidders were disqualified for various reasons. We went with the third, or essentially the middle bid, and explained that we took some alternates to reduce the price there a little bit, and I need to ask, however, that the quote that I included was missing one update, so there's a small change to the purchase price that I'd like the board to, that I'm requesting that the board approve. And that price, instead of $180,952, would be $183,648. That's an increase of $2,696. And so there was a change that where we went with a shorter table, more increases the number of tables, but they're shorter tables that weigh less, and the tables fold up, and you know the 12-foot tables can weigh upwards of 300 pounds, and when they fold up, you know, you've got a structure that's taller than most of our custodians. They're hard to move, and from a safety standpoint, we felt that it made sense to go with more but shorter tables. And so the cost of that was an additional, you know, $2,700. I had missed that change wasn't included in the updated quote, so I just wanted to point that out.
I think that's a great change. I've helped several times fold those tables up, and it is tough.
Yeah, So, I'll make just a couple of quick comments. It's a large purchase for the food service fund. The purchase is actually funded by the food service fund. And so, as board member Dave had asked a question, what are things going to look like for the food service fund in the next year? Because at this point, it appears that the U.S. federal government paid free lunch for all is not going to be returning this year, so it'll be back to a much more business as normal mode for food service. Now, we're seeing significant inflation there with food costs, labor costs, all of that. We've built up a significant amount of fund balance in the food service fund because of the high level of reimbursement rate for the last couple of years during COVID. At the end of last year, we had about $435,000 of excess fund balance beyond what we're supposed to carry in the food service fund. And so we're, Sarah Dyer has been working hard to continually upgrade equipment, replace the tables, do those kinds of things. We're gonna have to see how things play out this year. We, over the last 2 years, because lunches have been free for everybody, our participation rates have been around 85%. Typically, they're more like low to mid 60%, and so I would anticipate more, going back to that level. We don't want to increase meal prices at this point for, the unassisted lunches, and I don't think there's going to be a need. We've got enough margin in there to just get through this year and see how everything plays out, so.
And you're gonna get more for reimbursement?
Yeah,
or
and the
free and
reimbursement rate that we do receive for free and reduced is increasing.
Right.
So, that'll help offset that.
Is it typical to replace all buildings at the same time?
These tables, our current tables are over 20 years old.
For all the buildings?
Yeah, and so I don't know if,
That was one thing I would have liked to have seen in the report, is just the age, because as you're doing this and buying them all at the same time, then you're setting yourself up to have to do that again. They're all gonna probably get used the same amount and deteriorate at the same frequency, so you're gonna have to make another large purchase in
Yeah,
the
and that
future
will
to
be-
replace,
yeah.
instead of staggering by building or buildings.
yeah, but for, it's a significant amount of money, but the food service fund over a very long time has been able to sustain itself and replace equipment and do all of that. So I don't think that that's gonna cause us a problem. Those tables that we are purchasing now would have every expectation that they would be 20, 25 years. And so that'll be the next generation of administrators and board members to figure out. But I think it's, there are efficiencies to be gained by doing it all at once. I don't see where that's gonna cause a
Hey
major
Steve, is there
problem.
a plan for the old tables?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
We're gonna have to get rid of them, so we'll have to talk about that. Now, I don't expect these to come in, this is probably holiday time is when we're realistically looking at those coming in. So,
Christmas holiday, you're talking?
yeah,
Okay.
yep, holiday break. They may come in before that, and then we'll have to make arrangements, but,
I'm
You know-
just curious, can we get anything from them?
well,
Like, in like
we can look,
Liturgy or something like
in the
that?
past, we have auctioned things off through, I'm blanking on the name of the.
Liturgy?
And, we can look at doing that, or there's enough scrap metal that, we could scrap them and get some money back for those that way.
Are these new tables the same kind of tables that we have now with the seats attached? to
Yeah,
them?
yep.
I think the decision was made to try and buy them all at one time, because if I remember correctly, we were having a problem because we had a whole bunch of different manufacturers of tables, because we'd done that. And it was becoming a bit of a maintenance problem with regard to parts and repairs and all that stuff, so that way we kinda, I think, had some uniformity with regard to that. if
Yeah.
I can remember right. You know, the other thing I guess I just want to say, particularly for our viewers that we're streaming to, we are blessed in Vicksburg, and I don't think everybody realizes that our food service department is self-sustaining and has been for decades. So it's run as a business, it supports itself and runs profitable. And we're real lucky with that. A lot of school systems have to subsidize and go through a lot of things that we haven't had. We've been very fortunate with regard to that.
And just the ability to continue to maintain that operation in-house, because
Exactly.
that's not very common these days.
No.
The vast majority have been outsourced, and so, you know, yeah. All right. Other questions or comments? All right, if not, then that will conclude my report.
Thanks, Steve.
Just one thing, nothing to do with furniture. Is there an update on all the construction work? I had an opportunity to walk through Indian Lake, and I was amazed at just the amount of work and that they seem to be progressing on time. It's just impressive. I was shocked at the scope of work that's being done, and they said they're gonna be on time. But I was curious about
Yeah.
the rest of the projects.
We have a,
Nancy, do you, I mean,
we have a major walkthrough tomorrow.
yeah,
Nancy.
And
from a high
probably
level-
send a detailed email.
yeah, I'll say this, from a high level, it's going incredibly well. There are always hiccups.
You gotta get on
and things.
camera, Nancy.
Nancy.
But Nancy can give a more detailed update.
So, right now, we are pretty close to being on schedule. We have had, we had our overhead inspection last Thursday, and it passed. So now they're dropping pads in the ceilings, that means ceiling tiles and getting those in. Contractors are just finishing up all the different things. We had, Section C, which is 4th, 5th grade hall at Sunset, cleaned this weekend. So they're starting to work their way through the building. Same at Indian Lake, they plan to be in there, this week. The buildings get turned back over to us on Friday. Not meaning we'll probably still have some work going on, but not the big things that have been going on. 2 men and truck are scheduled to be here on Monday and Tuesday to move all the contents back into the classrooms, and then we're gonna let the teachers go. So it's pretty much the update. And again, can't thank Fredericks enough for managing this and the contractors that they bring to the table to get this job done. It is not a small feat what goes on, and it is a well-oiled machine and staying on top of it the entire time to make sure that we open on time. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, I was just like to commend, it was impressive. I mean, the amount of work that's being done, I think the staff is gonna be really very happy with the end product. And at least from a taxpayer standpoint, it's a project that's going well, and it's gonna bring a lot of value to the building, and also just to the way we can teach and keep kids focused on their learnings. I was very impressed, very impressed.
Talked to Mike Barwigan earlier last week, and he mentioned he didn't mind doing summer school because there was air conditioning there.
That was huge this year, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nancy. Okay, our Performing Arts Center annual report. Tim?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good to see you all. I'll just start off my report by kind of giving you a quick overview of the previous school year and hit a couple of highlights. As Keevan said at the beginning of the meeting, school's going to be starting up right around the corner, and it's a really exciting time for us at the PAC because the kids get about maybe a week, 10 days or so to kind of get acclimated to school. And then we're busy signing them up, auditioning them for drama productions that get going up right away in the fall. The kids are excited about being back, so it's a real fun time. I'm not sure, you may or may not be aware, but our International Thespian Society does a sort of a big reveal, cabaret style. They do that in July. As a matter of fact, it happened a couple of weeks ago, where they perform songs and scenes from the upcoming shows that year. So it's really cool, and the kids come back to school, they know what we're gonna be doing, and they're really excited. So they're using this time right now to kind of watch videos of different shows that we're gonna be doing and that type of thing. So it makes it real fun. And then we open up our performance season in October. This past year, the kids performed Roald Dahl's Matilda Jr. Really fun production for the kids. We had over 95 4th through 8th graders participate in the production. So it was a lot of fun for them. Turned out really, really great. We also get a chance in October to kind of hear our first listen to the choir and band programs, who have been by that time going for almost 9 weeks or so, so that's really cool. November comes around, it's the high schoolers' turn. This year they did a production of Clue on stage, which if you're familiar with the, oh gosh, I think it was mid-90s, that they came out with a film, sort of a comedy, farce, murder mystery, based on the classic board game. Kids had a great time for that. We had almost 50 high schoolers participating in that production. So our numbers are really strong, which is great to see that kind of participation. December, of course, you know, the PAC is filled with the holiday spirit. Toby, as a matter of fact, this year did a really cute production. If you're familiar with the, it's called Nailed It. It's a cooking, baking show. They did a really cute kind of send up of that show, but it sort of had a holiday flavor to it, which was really neat. And of course, the holiday music just fills the place, from you know, middle school choirs and bands, the fabulous holiday concert that the high school band and choir does to kind of wrap up just before we go on break is
Get there early
fantastic.
if you want a seat, because that fills the house.
You got it. Yeah, it's we do it. We get them in there. If we have to set up 100 extra chairs,
It is an
hopefully the
awesome
fire marshal isn't
performance.
watching the stream. But, but it's a great time. It's a really great time of year. So then once we get back from break, we're right away kicking off musical season. A lot of behind the scenes stuff happening in January and February to get ready for that. It's a really cool time for our band and choirs because they are getting ready and doing concerts, preparing for their festival season. And then it's March is here before we know it. The winter, I mean, it really makes the winter go fast. This March, if you happen to catch our production of SpongeBob, the musical, really cute show. I always tell people, I didn't let my daughter watch SpongeBob when she was growing up. And it's funny, a number of other parents were kind of like, yeah, I know, we didn't either, you know. But this show really won me over. Just a really warm-hearted, good message. The kids did phenomenal. I think we had almost 80 high schoolers participate in that, so that was really great. One of my favorite shows now that I've done. I wasn't so sure about it going into it, but really glad we did it. And then once we get back from spring break, it's amazing, the whirlwind of end of the year awards presentations and concerts and recitals and graduations. It's just so much goes on, and it's really cool to see all of that work that's been done by the kids over the course of the year culminate in some of this end of the year programming. It's amazing. It's really amazing what our teachers are able to get out of these kids. It's really great. I really appreciate the support that I get from the board, the administrative team. I'm very fortunate to work with a fantastic group of performing arts educators, Dusty Morris, Melissa Sparks, Ben Rozier, Jay Bennett, Ravenna, Kaler, Patty Heinzelman. They all are fantastic. They're all doing great things for kids, and it's just my pleasure to be able to serve those kids in the capacity that I do. I want to just throw some numbers at you real quick, just to kind of give you an idea that we were able to contribute to this success last year of 6 different community organizations, 18 school and student organizations, 10 bands, 18 choirs, 1 guitar studio, 3 dance studios, 1 homeschool theater group. We held 20 theater performances, 21 concerts, 7 dance recitals, 2 video presentations, 6 award ceremonies, 40 different meetings, 2 talent shows, 3 workshops, a battle of the books, 2 senior photo shoots, a guitar recital, a theater camp, hundreds of rehearsal hours, and oh yeah, our lecture halls were used as classrooms every school day of the year. So lots going on over there, quantity-wise, but what I really love to talk about is the quality. And yeah, I don't have to tell you guys how strong our choir programs are, our band program is, our drama program. You guys all know because I see you there taking in events. It's phenomenal, and it's really a point of pride for our district, I think. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to address you this evening. If there aren't any questions, I'll conclude my report.
Any
I don't have any questions, but I do want to thank you for your years of devoted service to the BAC. It's your ability to handle people and deal with all different people and kids that has made this program as successful as it has been. And I also want to say happy birthday, because it's Jim's birthday today.
Happy birthday.
The number 1 goal for this year's birthday was not to break any bones. And little over 4 hours left, so far so good.
Just be careful.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Keep up the good work. Okay, we have a couple people in the audience that wish to address the board. Kelly?
Gotta move this one on down.
I have the same
Y'all tall
problem.
people. Good evening, my name is Kelly McDonald. I'm the Vicksburg Education Association president. Our members are curious if there's been any new information provided by the state as to how the new mental health state funding can or cannot be used, or if there's no new information, possibly when we could expect to get some of that guidance. We wanted to share tonight that our Sunset Lake Media Specialist Workroom, I believe that's what it's called, is doubling as their staff lounge. The 4 other buildings have had more space available in their buildings. Of course, we know Sunset Lake's pretty full. They have a big population. The 4 other buildings really have been able to set up comfortable, nice lounges, which are so appreciated for that moment of respite throughout the day. We're just hoping that as we continue our discussion about those funds, maybe VCS could look into providing the staff at Sunset Lake with a separate calming area to support teacher social emotional health, and to really allow the media specialist her space for its original use. One suggestion that was brought to our attention was maybe looking into a portable building that could serve as the lounge. It's not ideal, but we feel very strongly that we'd like to work towards a solution for them as soon as we could. And thank you for any update that you could be able to provide on how those funds might be planned to be used whenever that update can come. Thank you.
Yeah, I can take that. Kelly, yeah, we're still waiting on more information regarding those funds. We're working directly with K-RISA as well. The minute we know, we'll definitely let you know.
Rochelle?
Hello. Well, first of all, for my 5th grader soon-to-be 5th grader going to Sunset, she appreciates the air conditioning putting in the building, so she wanted me to say thank you for that. A couple other things, just very brief. I know, Steve, you were talking about the lunch. Are they actually funding that for everybody this year, or is that not for everybody?
As of now, it's not for
Okay.
everybody. It's gonna go back to the tiered, free and reduced
Okay.
based on income and that type of thing.
Okay, sounds good. Just want to understand on that. The only other thing I wanted to bring up with the school that I saw last year was book fairs. I know I've talked to a couple of students, teachers about this, but my kids, when they were there, were seeing a lot of kids not having money to go spend at them and felt left out. So I don't know if there's some kind of a program or something we can do to make that more inclusive to everybody. Or I remember the year we had the COVID piece where we actually had it outside during conferences that gave parents an opportunity to shop at it too. So I just wanted to bring that up, want to make everything more inclusive in the schools there is all.
Good, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to board action required. First item is approval of the July 11th, 2022 board meeting minutes. We'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Moved by Dan,
Support.
supported by Carol. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of general fund invoices totaling $557,664.71.
Move approval?
Moved by Tina,
Support.
supported by Carol. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Approval of purchase card disbursements for June 2022. Do we have an amount on those?
You would have, but my calculator broke. I couldn't do it. It was too many numbers.
Okay. Sorry, I brought that
I
up.
was at home the night before rehearsal dinner.
Her daughter got married this weekend.
No excuse.
Okay. Are we,
moved.
Support?
moved by Jennifer, supported by Tina. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Did you say something, Dave, or no?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay. Approval of tentative agreement for the annual financial reopener for Vicksburg Parapo Professional Association.
Move approval.
Moved by Dave,
Support.
supported by Carol. Discussion. Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Approval to award the bid for cafeteria furniture to Learning Environments at an amount not to exceed $183,648 to be paid with funds from the school service fund.
So moved.
Is that,
That's the new amount.
That's the
is that
corrected.
the new amount?
That's
Yep,
correct.
that's the
Okay.
corrected amount.
Support?
Okay. Jennifer made the
Jennifer.
motion, Tina did the support. Any discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. F, approval of following contracts upon results of state and federal record and unprofessional conduct checks. And we'll take employees 1 through 4 with the board's permission.
Move approval.
Moved by
Support?
Dave, supported by, was it Tina?
It was.
Okay, supported by Tina. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Second reading of approval of Vicksburg Community Schools Policy 6110, 6114, and 6325.
Move approved.
Moved by Dan,
Support.
supported by Jennifer, was it? Okay. Discussion?
Stereo.
Okay, Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. I just want to say welcome to the new employees. We failed to mention Lourdes Families has some history in Kalamazoo, one of my favorite restaurants, Mi Ranchito, which is now gone. So I was very happy when she told me about that, to know that. So on that, we'll stand adjourned.